Hi, it's Wesley with Expandacraft, and we're here bright and early this morning on the Homosassa River, and we're right here next to Monkey Island if you want to pan over and see the monkeys. All right. And we're testing out. This is a new system we're going to show you. This is a folding deck. It folds in half to about 8 feet. Excuse me, it's 8 feet long, but it folds in half, so about 4 feet. Now this is a 16-foot, 9-inch boat. We've got about a 3.5, I think it's 42-inch, 42-inch overall beam. And what we're doing is we're testing out the motor today. Now the motor that we're testing out is a 1.5 Honda, and we got this motor from a place in Miami. Our buddies down at Kayak Buddies, and it's kayakbuddies.com that sells the motor. Now, this is a prototype. Let me first say this is a prototype, and yes, later in this video we're going to show it moving through the water. It's kind of a speed test today, and this is prototype for a couple of different reasons. One is this deck is going to be a little bit wider when it's all said and done. We're going to drill some holes in the aluminum to make it a little lighter. Folks ask me, does this motor have a reverse? Well, yes, it does. You just spin around like this. You take your paddle and it does paddle like a kayak. You'll see. Well, anyway, it's a 4-stroke motor, and again, prototype. I have this little piece of PVC pipe, and I have to kind of sit sideways. Later, we're going to have a T-bar here that's going to lead down to cables, and we'll either have a lever or even a foot-operated steering mechanism so that you can face forward. For the throttle, you would do a remote on the throttle, so you can still face forward and run the gas motor. So what we're going to do today, and actually too, I don't have my line on it, but you can see that the motor mount will actually tilt up, so I can bring the motor to me rather than have to go to the motor. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you just from a standing start how it will accelerate away, and I'm not even going to try full throttle. You'll never need full throttle on this thing. We've got 6 knots, 7 knots out of this thing already. I think it'll do better if I have the boat with the risers. So I'm going to take off. I'll do a turn around if you want to pause it so they don't have to watch me do a whole big old turnaround. And then I'm going to come by at maybe 6 knots. That's what I'm going to do. And here we go with throttle up. Woohoo! This is half throttle. That's full throttle. And if you'll pause it, I'll be right back. All right. So much for the motor test for this right now. What I'm using is a stand-up paddle that can collapse and slide open, so I can stand up on this thing. It's pretty stable. A whole lot more so than any kayak on the market. All right, so it's a nice test. Remember, this is a prototype. Not everything is fitted for this boat yet, and the steering mechanism needs to be so that we can steer the boat by facing forward. As a matter of fact, I'm even going to bring the ripcord, starting cord that is, to where you can reach it from right here. You don't even have to lean over. We're going to show later in another video, we're going to tow another boat with this boat, and I will bet you we get the same speed. What's limiting this particular boat is that I'm using it down low with the cross tubes through the center, like so. And once you reach about 6 or 7 knots, it starts to drag the last cross tube in the water, and so you'll never overcome that drag. That's why I think this one's going to be better if it was maybe a little wider and use the riser kit. That way it separates the hulls a little further. There's less interaction between the hulls with the bow wake to bow wake, which is minimal on these boats. Check us out, Expandacraft.com, and our friends at kayakbuddies.com for the motor.